This episode is sponsored by Property Filter. Find great deals faster.
Hello, and welcome to the Financial Freedom Podcast, sponsored by us at Property Portfolio Building. This podcast is designed by real people on their journey to achieving financial freedom, and we'll focus on people who've either already attained it, who are joining us on that journey, or maybe a specialist topic that can help you build your technical knowledge to achieving and maintaining that financial freedom. We hope you enjoy it. Hi folks, and welcome back to the Financial Freedom Podcast. Before we start, please take a moment to like and or subscribe on whatever platform you are listening or watching this on. That will keep you up to date with our newest episodes. Today is one of our 6 rounds with, where we interview somebody who is either already obtained or is on the way to obtaining their financial freedom. Today is a special one for us because we've known each other for I'd probably say the same length of time that I've been in property. He's been in property. We met very, very early on. He's an award-winning property investor and an entrepreneur with 16 years of experience in production and manufacturing. 2018 is when he started. So that today being 2025, depending on when you watch this, gives a good indicator as what you can achieve in that time frame. He actually replaced his corporate wage in 6 months, doing the rent-to-rent strategy well. Not like I did.
Or many others did
it badly, you know. So if you want to know anything around to do it well, Mark's stories are great. Now manages a mixed business for HMOs, Airbnbs, and he now helps other people build portfolios and is the host of the Property Unleashed podcast. So he'll be a guest today. So hopefully he can relax a little bit and be on the other side of the table. So first and foremost, huge welcome to our good friend, Mark Fitzgerald. Welcome, Mark.
Welcome. Thank you very much. Pleasure to be here, boys. And I'd just like to say as well, I was listening to you guys recording a podcast before I came on. The stuff that you're putting out there is phenomenal. It's fabulous. So,
thank you.
You know, it's
thank you
really
very
making
much.
a difference. But I'm really excited to be here.
So we delete the difficult questions.
We think it's great, but we're probably biased as well. But yeah, as long as people get value out of it, that's great for us.
That's what it's all about.
Thanks very much.
And the caveat here is Mark's from Bathway. Strong accent. So if you can't understand him and you are international, don't worry. We can barely understand him and we're British. So there you go.
Put subtitles on.
Yeah. Subtitles. Yeah. Click subtitles now if you want to go. So we do a little bit of an icebreaker just to get things going. So I believe we're going to let's talk Lego.
Yes.
That's the icebreaker. Tell me more about this.
So you did say to me, you know, what's something that people might not know too much about you. And I do have a big passion for building Lego.
And there you go.
And it's been something I've always had from a kid. And I do love the way that it is now. You know, you've got your Star Wars stuff, you've got your Formula One things. A Senna car that I got recently from the 1980s and Mansell's, 1992 winning championship car were absolutely brilliant. So, a little icebreaker there is, you know, if anybody's out there and they're passionate about their Lego and building their sets and things, then I like the same, and I'm quite happy to talk about it as well.
There you go. And you know, right, so one thing about Lego is I don't have any, you know. However, massive fan of how they've done their brand.
Yeah.
Because I think it was in 2013 or 14 they were in difficult positions.
Yeah.
And they were just like the standard toy manufacturer. And the sharpest thing they ever did was collaborate.
Yeah, I was just going to say partnerships, because obviously you mentioned there Formula One.
Yeah.
My initial thought was, I remember seeing the track a few weeks ago. All the drivers were going around in the full-size Lego F1 cars.
Yeah.
It's like that is a key partnership, a collaboration there.
Yeah.
And you've got the F1 cars. It really is smart.
Films of the last 10 years.
Yeah.
Lego movies.
Yeah.
Yes.
Where they partnered with Marvel and DC and you know, there's Harry Potter and you know they how clever is that?
Partnerships and brand association, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's key.
Stood the test of time, really, isn't it? Since it's come out, and you know,
and they kept it fun.
I've never broken Lego. You know, you stand on it, it really hurts, and stuff. But you can do anything with it, can't you? But my kids have always loved it. So my kids had Lord of the Rings and all of those sorts of things. So I used to love it because I got 2 sons where they got Lego, but they couldn't really build it. So I used to have to build it with them, but I used to build it. Now they're old enough to build it themselves. I don't even get asked to put the stickers on anymore. So I have to now go back out and buy it for myself.
And obviously their original partnership was like the Star Wars stuff, right? That was their original thing. And how they took so long really is probably their own failing to actually go, do you know what, why don't we do this for everyone? You know, just because if you're a provider of entertainment in the wider world, and then you've got somebody who's a fun brand supporting you, like Lego, you're just going to go, yeah, it's totally going to support my brand.
It's a win-win for everyone, isn't it? Really?
Brilliant. Yeah. Right. Okay. Let's move on. So we're going to talk mainly property stuff, but the one first question that we asked to every guest, it's question statement, but it's tell me your story.
So you say I'm from Bath. I'm not. I was actually originally born just outside of Croydon. And so we grew up there. My parents split up when I was quite young, about 3 years old, and then moved and lived with my mum and then her partner. So I would say the first sort of 9 years, because when I was 9, we then moved to Bath. My mum split up with her next partner, and we moved to Bath because my uncle already lived there. So they're quite close. So it was more for that, and my sister needed an operation as well. And I would say my younger years, I've sort of thought about this more recently than I ever have before, because I sort of reflect on that and see that, you know, my dad and my mum split up, my uncle, they got divorces as well. I was growing up around a lot of people that were actually getting divorces and things. And I think a lot of that shaped my early adult life, where I didn't ever want to get married and I never wanted kids. And I was quite adamant about that.
Yeah.
So growing up and everything, I hated school. I just thought I was really, really bad at school. And I used to run away from school when I was about 7 or 8 and things. I used to give everybody a heart attack, leapfrog the fence.
It's quite hard to run away from something and get away with it when you're as tall as you are.
Well, the headmaster used to follow me at the end of the day. So I never got away with it. I never got away with it. And it probably wasn't the cleverest of things to ever do, but I'm not 100% sure why I ever did that. But when we moved to Bath, I struggled a bit there to settle in. Obviously, I was a bit of a Cockney accent then. A bit more, but now I sound like a farmer, don't I? Because that's where I spent basically most of my childhood growing up with my mum and my sister. And it's always been good there. And realistically, it took me all the way up to, I got to a point where I was starting to think to myself, I want to make money. I want to make money. Money makes the world go round. And I was very money driven. So the early sort of signs for me was I was never afraid of hard work. I would work with my uncle, who was a builder, get out there shoveling all sorts of stuff around, digging holes, even fell down one. I dug a hole all day once and fell backwards down it. That's another story. That was a laugh. But I would chase the money. And that's always sort of been my sort of motto thing.
How deep was the hole?
It was a decent hole. It was about 5 foot.
Right, but you didn't have to you could get out of it yourself.
I could get out of it. Yeah, the thing was, I fell down it, and I was just looking up. I didn't hurt myself, luckily, and I was laughing because I just thought that is hysterical. If I'd seen somebody else do it, I'd have been over. My uncle looked quite worried, as if to say, "Are you all right?" And then once he realised I was all right, he did help me out the hole. But we were actually just putting some steel girders in. We were working in a factory to stop the forklift trucks that kept knocking down this wall, which were by the skip. So we were putting some steel. So we were just digging a hole for that. But I was sweeping away, trying to tidy up around before we got the girders and everything, and I just fell backwards. So you live and learn, don't you? It's a mistake I only made once. But I sort of went through doing a lot of different jobs in Bath, and then I got to the point where I wanted to buy a house. And by this time now, I was living in a masonette with my Lisa, who's now my wife. And we were just boyfriend and girlfriend, and we wanted to sort of start afresh, get out of Bath. Now, we were looking at trying to buy a house in Bath, and it was just so expensive to get on a first-time ladder. You know, this is the early thousands, you know, and it would have been about £250,000 to buy a decent house and stuff. And for a first-time buyer, that's a big deposit. So a friend of mine had some properties in Bristol, and he had 4 properties. He sold them, and he bought about 12 up north. And he moved up north and semi-retired. My mum decided she wanted to live by the sea, so she moved to Filey. Anyway, cut a long story short, when I went to see my mum, I went and saw my friend on the way back down, saw these properties and just thought he was buying them for about £40,000. And I just thought, crikey, because I didn't realise that, you know, house prices were so different everywhere.
Why would you?
Well, no.
You're just stuck in an environment. That's how much things cost around here.
And that's it. So the one good thing was that I decided, well, we should move and we'll go and buy a house up north. So I said to my friend, can I rent one of your houses? Because he had a bungalow at the time that was empty. And he was like, yeah, of course you can. What do you want to do? I said, well, we'll move up here, get some jobs, and then we'll buy a house. So that was our plan. And I say my plans are a bit more just like get up and go. I don't really think a lot of things through because I'm a blaze.
Right.
It's just like, it's all a good idea. Let's go.
Get on and do it and talk to people.
For those that don't know, we're talking here about Genius U.
Yeah.
And the way of
Wealth dynamics.
Understanding how people operate.
Yeah. So you have the square, don't you?
And a blaze is good for something, but not good for other things. Right?
No, it's not.
Detail orientated as well. No.
No. So you got your creators, haven't you, at the top? What are you, creator?
I'm actually 33% creator, 32% tempo. So I'm quite hourglass.
Okay.
On the map. But yeah.
And what are you, Tim?
I'm a steel.
You're steel.
I'm quite highly steel.
And it's
percentage-wise.
It's clever though, isn't it? With the wealth dynamics, just going off
a good blend here.
Because you have your creators at the top. That's what I mean. But you're supposed to look at that, aren't you? And team up with people. So for myself, I'm a red, which is down the right-hand column. So my profiles are supporter, which is to try and help people. I'm definitely a yes man. I do struggle saying no. I've really had to teach myself that. A star and a deal maker. So I'm basically the guy you send them out the front and I'll try and get you a deal. And I'll chat somebody's ear off until I can try and get that deal.
Good with people relations, aren't you? And you talking and socializing and all that sort of stuff. Yeah.
That's it. And I get an energy and a buzz from that sort of thing as well. And then below you have like an accumulator, don't you? Now my PA, Shayla, she's absolutely amazing. She is all accumulator. So I come up with all the ideas and I say, we're going to do this, and this. Now, if I asked her to come up with the ideas, she can do, but she's more like, give me those ideas and let me make something of them. Because I'm all over the place. So I'm spinning my wheels around. She does that. And then you've got the steel side, haven't you? Which is more Tim, which is, your numbers and everything and having processes and procedures and stuff. But what I like about that wealth dynamics is in a business form, as we were saying then, it's nice to look at different profiles because you do not want two blazes.
No.
Leading a business or in a business.
God, I was consulting for a business and there was all three directors of blazes.
Yeah,
it's no longer a thing, that company. I couldn't do anything with it. Like, it was a challenge, but they were lovely guys as well. And like, it was just everyone was trying to do the same item, and
they were these sort of like mates, aren't they? It's like you don't want to team up with your best mate, you could just be agreeing with everything, having beers and whatever, and then it's like, well, actually, we're not making any money here.
It all seems like a good idea.
The test is really good because it gives you, if you do the full detail on it, it actually like really spells out who you can work well with, why.
It also gives you an understanding of that other person.
Yes.
Because like, as an example, if you and Tim were business partners, you talk completely different language.
Yeah, Blaze and Steels directly struggle together because it's an opposite language.
Whereas, creators and blazes aren't too far apart, so that's, you can sometimes understand the individual and you can see them running with your idea or whatever. So it is a good way to communicate, I find. That's what I use it for the most, is trying to get a good communication and understanding of the individual.
Yeah. No, it is sound to look at.
So back on track.
Back on track, sorry. So we moved up north, moved into the bungalow. We've got jobs and everything. Lisa came obviously with me with that. We started basically from nothing. So we didn't even have jobs at the time, but we got work. She got work initially for HSBC, a call center there. I did a few different jobs, did a bit of security. I went and was putting wine bottles in boxes. That was actually quite a good laugh, but I didn't do that very long. In the end, I
about manual stuff, isn't it?
Yeah. It was just a job. Just give me a job at the end of the day. So I was just chatting to agencies. Just give me whatever. Let's get some money coming through. In the end, I actually got a job at a motorhome factory. Which was called Auto Cruise at the time. And that just came about because I was working next door to that, making shower trays. And the owner of that came through because he thought the building was for sale. Right. And I just got chatting to him, said, you got any jobs? He said, what can you do? I said, well, I am actually a trained carpenter. Right. So he said, well, we've got a cab shop, build furniture, come around. Cut a long story short, got a job there. Now, I spent 16 years there then. So obviously we rented off of my friend and then eventually build up enough money to be able to buy a house. First house we bought was 48 grand. I felt like putting it on a credit card rather than getting a mortgage because everything felt so cheap. Yeah. And as I say, the main problem was I only bought one, didn't I, to live in? I should have bought loads of them like he was doing. But again, the mindset wasn't there. Yeah. I didn't have that. And I just thought, this is what you do. Spent 10 years at Auto Cruise that was then bought by Swift, Motorhomes and Caravans. Worked my way off the shop floor up to management level, senior management level. And I really enjoyed that for 10 years. And that was me. I just thought, this is it. This is life. This is what it's all about. Didn't really know any different. Head down, good little hamster on a hamster wheel, minion, as I like to say. And it wasn't until about 11 years into that I thought to myself, it's got to be more to life than this. I want to do something for myself. And I kept saying the same thing. It's like Groundhog Day. I was chatting to people. I want to start my own business. Just don't know what I'm going to do.
Yeah.
I thought I had to reinvent something, or I had to come up with something that's not been done before. I looked at loads of different things, but never did anything, never took action on anything. And it wasn't until 2018 when I had to have an operation on my ankle, which is, I've got dodgy ankles anyway because I'm tall. When I was a tall baby, I had club foot. So one of them, they had to break the bone and move it round. So it was just having a debridement. Realistically, I got some calcium that built up, and it just needed to be, so not a massive thing, but it knocked me, it put me on my back for about a couple of months. So for me, I was just sat there as you are, twiddling your thumbs, thinking, I'm just a number. If I couldn't work again now, we've got a little bit of savings and stuff, but what can I do? And that was when I Googled how to make money in property, because I was thinking about buy-to-lets, property's a good investment, all of a sudden. And that was when, boom, this sort of whole world opens up to you. And I started then getting some books and reading about it and looking at the creative ways that you can get into property and things. And I thought, you know what, I could make something out of this, potentially make a property business, which is what I've always looked at it to do. So as you do, you start networking and things getting out there. And my whole thing was to build up a bit of a property business or portfolio, because I didn't really at that stage know what I wanted to do, alongside my full-time job. So that was what we did. At that time, I wouldn't have paid anything I begrudged paying the money to go to a networking event, because, again, I was the sort of person that would read a book, but I would go on Amazon and see if I could get it secondhand for a couple of quid cheaper.
Spend ages
that was the mindset.
Spend an hour trying to save yourself less than your
£2.50 or something like that. Yeah, the price of
cost mindset.
Exactly.
Saying,
I was terrible, absolutely terrible for it. And it wasn't until I then started to get educated in what actually is holding me back. And the one realization was me. And as soon as I saw that, I'm at work. If I'm going to make something happen, I can't wait to be headhunted. I can't wait to win the lottery or dreams. I just got to start putting one foot in front of the other. And once I sort of had that realization, and I'll tell you,
it's hard, isn't it, that realization?
Well, it is. But the person that mentored me through that is deceased. He did it through his not podcast, because he didn't have a podcast, but it's Jim Rohn.
All right. Yeah.
So if you've never listened to Jim Rohn,
excellent. Yeah.
He's got an ultimate collection that I have, which is about 12 hours long on Audible. I listen to that a couple of times a year. I've been listening to it for the last 7 years. Yeah, and every time I listen to that, that's a shorter version. Every time I listen to it, I learn something new. And it wasn't until he basically
And the great thing about it is it's a collection of his Audible stuff that he's actually done. It's not somebody else reading his books. That's what I really love about it.
Yeah, it's him, isn't it? And he's entertaining.
I think if we could have anyone dead or alive on this podcast,
I'd love to meet the guy.
He would probably be it, wouldn't he? Because he very much reflects our ethos and what we're about on this podcast.
100%.
Yeah. And the one thing that he said that really, it was, for things to change, you have to change. And I must have heard that quite a few times, listening to it, didn't really get it. And then eventually it was just like that light bulb moment goes off, doesn't it? And that was when I thought,
no one's coming to save you. It's your responsibility.
Exactly. Right? And where you are is your fault.
And people shouldn't judge you, but they do.
Of course they do. Yeah. Right. Yeah. Never judge a book by the cover. They do, don't they? And we're all guilty of that.
Yeah.
So, so that was when I thought, I've got to pull my socks up and I'm going to start doing something. Didn't have a lot of money. Was still not sure of everything to do, but networking, I started to chat to people and they were using the rent-to-rent strategy. And they were doing quite successfully. And it was a couple of people that I really spoke to were ladies called Anki and Hanley, South African ladies, and they were doing it around Chesterfield, Worksop way. And that was when realistically I just thought, you know what, I could do that. I reckon I could. I want to offer landlords like a VIP service, but it's got to be the right properties. And at that time, a lot of the ways that people were showing, and they're still doing it to this day, is you find an old landlord. Now, rent to rent, obviously, for people that don't understand or know what rent to rent is.
Good point. Let's talk about that for 1 second.
Is basically
because we don't like it. All right.
Yeah. Well, no, that's it. It doesn't work for everybody, but you've got to do it with the right properties. Is where you take on a landlord's properties, you basically manage it like a letting agency. Yeah. You offer them a guaranteed rent. You take on utilities and bills. Basically, I treat the properties as if I bought them. The guaranteed rent is a mortgage, and that's the way that I like to look at it. Yeah. So you do take on the liability of it all, and you have to make sure you do. And I've done bad deals. You know, they're not all good deals, but you need to make sure you use the right contracts, that you set yourself up in the right manner, and you go into it with the right intentions as well. And like I say, I've had properties that I've given back. I've had properties that work really well as well. It's a business thing. The way I look at it is, so you need to set yourself up as a business and make sure that, it's cash flow and it's working for everybody. So that was what I thought. Well, I can get into this, get a cash flow going, and then I can leave my job because I was a bit miserable.
Yeah.
So that was realistically the beginning of 2019. I decided to take voluntary redundancy. They called all of us managers into an office. They said they wanted to make a manager redundant. I'm not being big-headed. I don't think it was going to be me that they were targeting. I think there were some other people that they were targeting. And that was the moment I thought, this is it. Get out of your own way. Let's go and have a go at this and see what we can do. Which, on hindsight, I wouldn't recommend.
No, don't.
I would not recommend that to anybody.
I did the same. Don't do it when you don't have a job. Do it when you've got a job.
Yes, exactly.
Is that a Blaze thing? Because I was the other way where I'm like, I cannot and will not until I get to X amount of properties and cash flow and stuff like that.
The problem, the difference is that you'll be able to compartmentalize.
Yeah.
Whereas a Blaze can only do one thing at a time.
And I scheduled it out. I literally scheduled.
They do it really well.
I scheduled it out, timed it out. And
so if you've got a Blaze not focused on that one thing, if you're focused on your day job, then the day job is what you're focused on. Like, difficult to do two things at once. It was the same for me as a creator. Is if I was so involved and was good at what we did, it's the same. It's like if I'm doing that, I'm not going to do this. The same.
Yeah, exactly. And you put it really succinctly there, actually, because it is that sort of thing that I was basically thinking, I'm on a boat, I'm going to dive off the boat and I'm going to swim to shore. If I can get to shore, I've cracked it. I've replaced my wage. If I can, I have to have a lifeboat. I just thought, well, what's the worst that can happen? I'll just go and get a part-time job. But I will focus and make sure that it's a part-time job so I can still build something.
And you're motivated to make it work. Really.
Yeah. And the motivation for me actually was more, I want to show my kids that if you want to get out there and do something, as long as you give it 100% and you're consistent and persistent in the right approach, you can do it. You will make mistakes and things won't happen. And I remember having my head in my hands on the kitchen table thinking, my God, have I made a big mistake here? But I took voluntary redundancy. And another thing for me that I have been fortunate is having a wonderful wife who's very supportive for a Blaze that's quite crazy at times.
Important.
I remember ringing her up and I said to her, Lisa, they want to make a manager redundant. And she was like, okay, well, that's not good, is it? She said, what do you want to do? I said, I want to take it. I said, and she said, well, what are you going to do? I said, I'm going to build a property business. Do you know what I mean? It sounds crazy now. Because don't get me wrong, I had a cushy job. I don't think I was under any threat. We were earning good money. I could have stayed there. I could probably still be there now. Do you know what I mean? But I really had that. It was like, for me, this is it. This is a sign. This is now or never. I've got to either take it or just shut up and get on with my job. And she just said, yeah, do it then. Tell them. Take voluntary redundancy. We believe in you. We think you can do it. And that's massive. And I'll thank her forever for that, for having that. It also puts a burden on my shoulders because I did have a bit of redundancy money, but it wasn't massive. It wasn't going to last forever. So I do not recommend anybody does that. You listen to that, you think, oh, I'm going to do it.
However,
don't do it.
We both did the same thing. So not recommended. But if you do it.
I wouldn't recommend what I did either as well. So interesting.
No, we'll just end the podcast.
Don't do that. So what you've just listened to, forget. All right.
Right, lovely. So we're going to move on to question 2, if that's all right.
Yeah.
Because now we're at the start of your property journey. And we ask this question because we get a different answer every time. What is financial freedom and what does it mean to you?
So financial freedom, I think, is having assets in the background that can basically pay for your lifestyle. Now, if you'd have said, what do you think is a rich life? That's another question. I think I live a rich life now. So rich for me, if you'd have said to me 8 years ago, what's a rich life? I'd have said 10 million in a bank, a mansion, a Ferrari, and all of those things. That's what I thought was rich. But actually, rich life for me is being able to spend time with my family, with my kids. Very important to me to be able to be there and be present. And I don't think, you don't need millions in the bank. You don't even need hundreds of thousands in the bank to lead a rich life if your mindset's in the right place. But financial freedom for me is, and I'm not there yet, I'm still striving to try and be financially free, because I look at it as if I took myself away from my businesses, my investing and everything, could I just disappear and have 12 months around the world and never have to answer a question? That for me is financial freedom. And I think that gives you peace of mind, helps you sleep at night. And for a lot of people, that is what we all strive to do. And it's having basically an asset base behind you.
It's a good comparison, isn't it? financial freedom versus rich. You know, and that's I guess in the world of Instagram and stuff like that is I see it a lot. I don't have Instagram, so I don't see it on Instagram, but I see people talking about property in a way that doesn't compute in my brain. In like, it's not about Ferraris.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
No, it's not. And the good way to look at it, I think, is status or status, you'd say in this country, because when
Speak English.
the way the way we evolved is like for a man, it's like you got the animal, you got the food, you put it on your back. So that was the status symbol of the caveman age or whatever. Whereas then in our current age, it's like you said, it's like the Ferraris, those material goods, whatever, because it's a physical thing that people see. Whereas the actual status of probably what we consider is like what you don't see, which is the assets in the background, the freedom you've got, your flexibility of choice and time and all those sort of things. It's not like that traditional status symbol, is it? It's different.
I genuinely think there's a lot to be said for somebody with a beat up car and enough money to pay for their lives and be able to have the choices to do what they want to do.
I used to love driving one of the areas that we invest in Salford Council area. I used to drive into one of the streets where I had a few properties, and mine was the worst car in that street. And I'm like, I own 2 properties on this street, and mine's the worst car. And that's the difference, isn't it? I suppose?
Yeah. My car's 10 years old.
I think so. And it's a massive thing, and everybody's different. So if you do want the fast cars and you want all the money, that's fine. The old me would have wanted a symbol. Would have wanted to drive around in a Ferrari, McLaren, something like that, Porsche or whatever. I mean, even now you can buy a Porsche for.
Oh mate, when I first got promoted to board level, I bought an E-Class Merc.
Yeah,
straight first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I had a goal.
It cost me so much.
I had a goal to leave my job and buy a Porsche Cayenne because all the shareholders and directors of the company I worked at had them in the car park. And then I got to the point, I'm like, actually, that's not me.
Yeah. But the old me would have been, you always used to have the latest phone or mobile devices or whatever was out in the trends. And I look at it now and I just think, no. But like, you still see so many people trapped on that you're not successful unless you're stood in front of your Lambo or your massive mansion. I mean, we've got a bigger house now, which we have done through property and property investing. That's really, has changed our lives for the better. Now, nobody's going to look at that and think it's a mansion. It's not a mansion. It's a bigger house than what we had. But even there are times when I'm in that house, and don't get me wrong, I do love this house, that I think to myself, this house is too big for us. And sometimes you can, like I say, it's not massive, but we've got different rooms and everything downstairs, whereas before our old house was quite a big kitchen diner and then a bit of living room. You couldn't really lose anybody, but you can actually walk through the downstairs of this house now and miss somebody. And it does. And sometimes you'll hear somebody shout out and it's like, I'm here. Oh, I didn't see you there. Do you know what I mean? And that for me isn't homely.
Yeah, I know, but you've got young children. At some point, you'll be glad of that. Just shut the door. You just leave me alone,
But they're happy. They're always up in their rooms now. Anyway, it's trying to prize them out of it at the moment.
It's interesting you said that you're not, in your opinion, financially free yet because you can't live 12 months without doing anything. But would you live 12 months without doing anything?
No.
So
I've got no aspirations to stop doing the things that I do.
So how do those two things? Do you think maybe you need to have another look at that then? Because if you're not going to do something, then why have you got it as a goal? Why would it be a...
Well, financial freedom for me is a nest egg and a legacy piece for my kids.
Right.
Because that's something that I've never had. My childhood and everything has been great. I've got a lovely family and everything like that, but we've never had lots of money. Okay. Well, my dad's actually, he's not doing too bad, bless him, but that's a different story. But for me, I want to leave like that trust. I want to be able to say to the kids, this can pay for your life. You can go and have a low-paying job if that's something that you love because you'll make money from this. Do you know what I mean? So you can actually, or not have a job at all. But I hope they do something. I mean, they are being quite entrepreneurial themselves. For me, it's a funny one because I think if you love what you do, now, don't get me wrong. This can be taken out of context. When you say, because you hear it all the time, that I love what I do. I love what I do. I love what I do, but there are good days and bad days. We all have those.
Always, yeah.
Got stuff that don't
yeah. So, and that's why I like to try and keep it real because property investing's hard.
But
it's difficult.
The bad days they make the good days even better, don't they?
You've got to have them,
and it adds to that purpose and satisfaction and stuff like that. Yeah.
But from what you're saying there is, maybe I do need to rethink it. But I being a Blaze, the personality and everything that I am now that I know what I am, I need to be involved in something.
So would you say that perhaps, if you said to yourself, compared to your previous life, would you class yourself, you as financially free? and now you're trying to create a legacy for your next generation, or are there actions you need to take to actually achieve what you would class as financial freedom for yourself?
I personally think I need to do more because I don't think I'm where I want to be. So we all set our standards and our goals. We all do that planning. Everybody does each and every year, or if they don't, they should do. And obviously, the bar always gets raised.
Definitely not everyone does.
No. But they should do. That's what I'm saying. They should do.
90-something% of the population do. Oh, I just made up that figure, but a lot of people.
I bet it is. I bet it's
a lot of people
off.
do not, do they? So that's obviously in this. We do, but a lot of people do not. Yeah.
But I didn't before. I mean, in my corporate job, our goals were to get through the day.
Yeah.
And that was about it. So we have targets and goals that obviously the company sets, but I never really had any personal achievement goals and stuff. But the legacy piece, if I can leave a legacy piece, which I'm on my way to building for the kids at the moment, for the family, if something happens to me, they're all sound, I can leave it there. Everything else can survive pretty much without me or be taken over by, somebody to come in and control the reins.
Do you think it's like a security element as well? Because obviously you're saying legacy. So I see legacy as like, that's what you sort of pass down to say family. But then is it for you a bit of a security thing? So like if something happened to you tomorrow or whatever, and you had an incident or whatever, you're still alive, but you can't really do your day to day or whatever.
Yeah. I would say that's it. At the moment, I've got a lot of cash flowing assets that we control, but we don't own. I need to get more ownership.
Right.
And that's the so for me to say,
you started in the rent to rent.
Yes.
Right. Yeah. Gotcha.
So we've got the cash flow coming through, which is fine and dandy.
Yeah.
And we got the noise. We're at the noisy stage of the business, but I removed myself from a lot of that noise. But I'm now working on, so to speak, the asset based.
Yeah.
And I still can't. So I'm looking for sort of title split properties. So we can have multiple units in one, but I don't particularly want a load of HMOs.
Yeah.
But if you've got 1-bed flats, 2-bed flats, and things like that, maybe even blocks of flats and apartments and things. So that's the sort of, and it's not. I don't want hundreds of them. I just want a few of the right ones to be able to fall back on, and just have that there, because it can be tricky, it can be difficult, but it's that nest egg thing. So for me, my whole mission is to leave that. If I can leave my kids with something like that and potentially have a retirement fund for me, I'm happy. At the moment, let's enjoy ourselves.
Yeah, and the thing to pick up on there is you talked about, I'm looking for blocks of flats that I can title split. So for anybody that doesn't know what that is, so what Mark's effectively saying is, I'm going to find a freehold block of apartments that has already been probably developed, but it's just hasn't yet been split into leasehold flats. And the theory behind that is that the value of the sum of its parts is greater than the whole. So a bit like buying a cake from the wholesaler and then splitting it up into pieces, selling them as individual pieces, right? So you want to sell the pieces more than the cake itself.
Yeah.
And that's the same with the title split. So let's say you buy a 8 flat property that used to be one building and now it's 8 flats. It's all on one freehold. If you can do a little bit of asset management within that as well, which is maybe increasing rents or getting new tenants in or whatever, or fixing problems if there are some, then you can up the value of those individual flats. Then when you buy it versus when you split it, you might be able to get some development uplift without doing a great deal of work.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. And we look for ones as, obviously, if we can try and add an extra bedroom or jiggy pokery, not massive things, but just easy enough.
A little bit of asset management, more than I'm going to take a commercial property, develop it into 8 flats, completely split it all up. That's planning.
Yeah, and that's not me. That's not me. I give you guys a call for that. I'll be quite honest with you.
Stop the podcast now. This episode is sponsored by Property Filter. Property Filter is the #1 property tool for today's property professional. It brings in all the data points and sources from all the property portals and auction sites into one convenient place. Then you have the option to overlay all the clever strategies found in the Property Filter blueprint to find motivated sellers faster. Now, we use it on a daily basis. It saves us over 80% of our time when looking for properties. And if that sounds like something that you want in your lives, please go to register.property-filter.co.uk/PPB, which is the discount code for this podcast. You will get 2 weeks free and a discount on your first month. That's it from me. Back to the podcast. All right, so we get that. So we know where the plans are. So, question. What does a typical day look like?
So I'm quite lucky. I do pinch myself sometimes for my days because I can spend my days pretty much how I want to.
Why are you lucky?
Well, you make your own luck, don't you?
You've made a lot of deliberate choices.
Yeah. Well, you make your own luck. I'm with you. I'm with you on that. You make your own luck, but
Didn't mean to point at you then.
no. But you still got to get it.
So that was quite aggressive, wasn't it? Why are you looking? No, I didn't.
It was like the old
hold on a
teacher
minute.
pointing the ruler or something.
So a typical day for me is I wake up sometimes. Well, actually, at the moment it's about 6, half 6 and stuff. Sometimes it could be 5, half 5. But I basically wake up when I want to wake up.
Yeah.
I don't really have an alarm unless it's a major appointment or I'm getting on a flight or something.
Mm-hmm.
So first port of call is I will get up, I will drink some water. So I try and have a liter of water and stuff. And then I try and maybe
water for everyone else.
Water. That sounds like you then.
Yeah, I say water.
Water. And then I will normally read at least 10 pages of a self-development book. Massive into my reading. I will meditate between 5 to 20 minutes. And on a caveat to that, just as a bit of a laugh, my wife has come down after she's woken up and found me asleep because I fell asleep meditating.
Right, okay,
She's like, why have you woke up to fall asleep down here? I haven't. I was meditating.
Yeah.
But I've learned.
Maybe I should.
I've learned that actually that's not a bad thing when meditating as well. So just let it all happen. But if I don't fall asleep, then I do tend to try and spend between half an hour and an hour on something that is going to teach me something. Mm-hmm. So it might be a home study course, or it might just be something that I'm learning in some books or stuff like that. So I spend half an hour at least on sort of self-development, because my main drivers for me is to be the best husband I can be, best father I can be, best property investor and business owner. So those are basically the 4 categories that I actually work on. Because I think, if you want to get better at anything, there's books out there that can help you with all of that. There's obviously things you can study. So I'll do that. Then the family get up. So I'll make sure that they're okay. The next port of call for me then is taking the dog for a walk. Got a little cockapoo, Archie, so we'll go and get some exercise. We'll go and walk along the tracks. We've got some really nice tracks behind where we live. So I'll go out there, get some air, get the heart rate going, whether it's raining, snowing, whatever. Back to the house, I will get a brew. At the moment, I'm in fasting mode because I'm trying to get fit, or fitter, should I say. No, let's just say it how it is. I'm trying to get fit. So I'm into my bulletproof coffee at the moment, which is really quite nice.
Really?
Yeah, I'm enjoying it.
Do you?
Yeah.
I have absolutely no idea what you're talking about.
So it's coffee, basically, but that's the brand. It's called Bulletproof.
Okay.
It was a bit grim, to be honest.
Where's it? Which one did you have?
Well, bulletproof.
Yeah, but there's loads of different flavors.
Oh, no, just normal stuff.
Oh, you maybe have the bad flavor. I have the morning one, morning breakfast. Lovely it is.
I don't know.
Lovely. But what you can do is also you can get a creamer that goes in that. And if you put a creamer in and mix it up, now you do need a whisker for that because it won't mix with a spoon. It keeps you in a fasting state.
How's that work, though? Because I do intermittent fasting and I don't take any milk before 11.
Yeah, dairy products and stuff you will, because of the calorie density of it. It keeps you in a fasting state.
We'll talk about that.
Yeah. So it's worth trying. So for me, because I was always a breakfast person, and I think that's because of the cereal brands told me I needed to be.
Yeah.
I always thought I had to have my porridge and everything in the morning. But if I have that coffee, I'll go back to my office. I will read while I have the coffee. And then my day basically opens up and starts. Now, normally at 9 o'clock, which is when I've done everything by then, the morning routine's done. I will then spend 60 to 90 minutes on something that will help move my businesses forward. And the one thing I've actually started doing over the last 12 months, which I never thought being myself, get up and go action person, is I have thinking time. And I've never done it before. I only I've started doing it over the last 12 months. And it's really looking at a problem or thinking about how I want to grow something and just sitting back and thinking about it. And you come up with some great things. It really does work. So,
and noting as you go, or just thinking.
Yeah, you note things down as you get them, so you don't dwell on it too much. Now, don't get me wrong; it's not a case of I just get there and I just sit there and I just think. But I'm normally writing things down, ideas, setting goals, and stuff just pops into your head. So sometimes I have a book that I call a fridge. So if I have what I think is a good idea, I have lots of ideas. I put it in my book that's called the fridge, because what does the fridge do? It keeps stuff chilled, doesn't it? While you so you can come back to it. So I have a little book there that I can go back to ideas.
Have you ever watched? And this is going back quite a long time, but the guy, John Cleese, is one of my absolute favorite people, right? I love the guy. He did a speech to the London School of Economics or something like that.
Is that what Dan Hill got us to watch?
Oh, I don't know, is it?
I think I have watched it, though, yeah. I'm sure Dan Hill recommended it.
I don't know whether or not that was...
Yeah,
that
I've
was
seen it somewhere as well.
So, I've shown you.
You showed.
Yeah, so...
There you go.
It was basically the... creativity and management, and he talks about this problem of thinking time, and that people don't give themselves enough time to ponder a problem. And if you haven't watched it, go and watch it.
I think I have. It rings a bell.
Excellent in explaining why creativity is something that you allow to happen. It's not something that can just happen because you need to be in the right operating moment.
Yeah, I think a lot of it to me is environment, because whether it's like creative thinking of like planning or it's solving problems, I find if I'm at my desk and I've got all these problems and I'm sitting there going, I've got all these problems.
Yeah.
Literally, I get up, go for a walk, and I've like solved them in minutes.
Yeah.
It's just by moving from the desk to like walking on the canal. That's what solved it.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely
environment.
crazy how the mind works. But you take yourself out of that environment.
Dan calls it in his program cave time.
Yeah.
Which is time just to think about problems, which we use as language in our business.
Yeah. I use it. I call it golden.
John Cleese's
Golden time.
Yeah, there you go.
So basically then try and work on that. And realistically, unless something's on fire or there's a major problem, about 10 o'clock is when I start looking at emails and start getting into the day. And then that could mean that we have a meeting with my personal assistant, talk to the VAs, see what's going on, see if there's any issues or problems. I might be going out looking at a property. I might be meeting somebody. And that's generally it. But I try and work between 10 and 2. I don't try and work Mondays to Fridays. Although Fridays I like to have as fun time, so I try and take my mum out on a Friday, take her for a coffee and things, because she lives locally to us now. Nice. So
sorry, good days for podcasts as well, aren't they?
And podcasts as well. Yeah. Well, she's not about, so I'm open this Friday. But so I try and leave that open. I do like to go shooting in Barnsley. Actually, there's a gun range there. I know a lot of people don't like guns, but it's all done in a safe environment. It's like a proper American one. Where you have all the targets that go down the range and things, and you can have some fun. So I like to take my boys and we go and have a bit of fun, throwing some lead down the range, and that's what I try and do on Friday. So I've always wanted a 3-day weekend. And now I try and make it 4.
All right, there you go.
What Monday as well?
Well, that brings us nicely to the next question, actually, which is I might have changed the word in this question, because we actually ask what you're most proud of in your journey. But what do you think from what you've done so far brings you the most fulfillment, and what do you think, looking back, you are most like, I'm so glad I've done that?
I would say there's numerous chapters or stages to that, because I mean the first one I will say is Lisa talking me into marrying her.
Oh, really?
I'm super proud of that, because
why do you think you were talked into it? I'm really interested in this, because I feel I was talked into it, because I was the same.
She proposed to me.
Oh, did she?
Yeah.
There you go.
And I wasn't sure. Right. I got scared. I wouldn't deny it.
It was one of my
but a friend of mine said to me, because I looked a bit, I was a bit taken back by it, because she rang me up actually and spoke about it. And he said to me, what's the matter? I said, I don't know. Lisa's just said, why don't we get married? And it was quite a casual conversation. So it's not like she got down on one, we're just chatting about it, because we've been together quite a while by then. And he said to me, well, give me a good reason not to do it. And at that moment, I couldn't think of anything. He said, so what's the problem? I thought, well, there isn't then, really, is there? And then I got talked into having kids as well, because I was quite adamant about it all. And I think with the upbringing I had, I just thought it's just going to end.
I might hire Lisa. She sounds like a really good influencer.
Was it?
Yeah. She's a negotiator.
Did you have an expensive wedding or like a relatively?
Our wedding actually was. I can say it now, was class. So we went back to Bath and we got married there at the registry office. Now the registry office in Bath has changed. I think it's at the Guildhall now. Before that, it was near Victoria Park. And it's a beautiful building. So we did it at the registry office, but it could have been a big church for all that it was like inside. And just across the way from there, there's a big square with loads of trees, and it was a beautiful day. It was absolutely pouring down the day before. So we were like, where are we going to take pictures and stuff? But we went to the registry office. We had it there with close family and friends. We then went to the park, and people actually moved out the way for us at the park. And it was almost like we had it for ourselves. And people on the open top bus were taking pictures of us. And then we walked over to a Turkish restaurant. And one of the family members knew them really well, so they looked after us. So that's where we sort of had the reception, and then at night we had an evening do it just one of the pubs upstairs. And a lot of people say that's the best wedding I've ever been to.
Yeah, that's great.
That sounds good.
Yeah, it's great, because it's not about, like, we get the same. So it's not about how much in the venue and everything needs to be perfect. It's about who's there and how much fun they have.
Yeah,
and people forget that, right? People do forget.
That.
And you
it's
have
experience.
To enjoy your day.
It's the experience. It's the experience of the day. That's the absolute key.
Well, most people don't get a chance to enjoy their day, because it's like, oh, this time you got to be here. This time you got to be here. So we just sort of went with the flow, and it could have backfired, but it didn't. It was really, really nice. So yeah, that's what we did there. But back to the question, I would say is obviously Mary and Lisa having kids as well, because they really have driven me on. My boys
are, listen,
and they're brilliant.
You've ticked the boxes.
The family's there.
When they listen to it back, you got the brownie points. What about
forgetting about the family?
yeah, Lisa can get the tick right. Anyway, but what about? It's a big change. You've made some deliberate choices that have brought you to this position that you can do this like 40 weeks. So tell me about that. You know, what is at what point have you gone, you know what, that's been pretty good?
I would say biggest achievements were realistically replacing my wage.
Yeah.
I think that was the first thing. The first thing. And don't get me wrong, we've made a lot more money since then, but it's never felt as good. And I always thought next level.
Yeah.
But actually, it was about 6 months into my journey. It took me 4 months of that journey to get my first deal. So I then managed to get 6 odd deals in the space of about a month and a half.
Yeah.
And things just happened really quickly. And I have to say, when I sat back and saw the money coming through, and it basically replaced my wage, and we didn't have to dip into our savings to survive anymore, that I probably would say is my favorite one.
Yeah,
of course. Yeah.
Being non-reliant on a job.
And was it the
It's as
wage
simple as that, isn't it?
So was it the money you needed to spend to live?
Well, it was living expenses.
Yeah.
Living expense, which was pretty much my wage, because I used to basically live to the wage.
Oh, right, okay, yeah.
So we did make
most
some
people do that, right?
Yeah. Of course, next promotion, you're soaking it up, aren't you? Why? Because maybe you want a better car, or it's all those superficial things. Yeah. But for me, we did make some sacrifices when I took redundancy, and we cut back on different things and got our subscriptions down and stuff. But yeah, I would say the biggest celebration I've sort of had, or the biggest thing I would give myself credit for, is that. Subsequently, there's lots of different other things I've done, but they've never topped it. I've never had that feeling of like, oh, this is better than that. It's just like, and I think it's because I built something on my own from scratch.
Yeah.
So that was it.
Yeah. You just see the direct result of the action, don't you? That's what I like.
And then COVID slapped us all in the face.
Wow, yeah. It ultimately changed my life for the better in lots of ways, but. Yeah, it was a challenging time, that's for sure.
It was.
Okay, so out of everything that you've obviously self-development, is there a singular thing that you've been given as advice, or that you've read, or that you've heard, that you would say that's the best piece of advice that I've been given so far in my journey?
I would go back to our friend Jim. A massive believer in that, and I do honestly believe that to make anything happen, you've got to make it happen yourself. So for things to change, you have to change. I know I've already said that, but it is such a massive thing, and it has been for me, because my life now is different between night and day.
For things to change, you have to change.
Yeah.
Right? I cannot tell you the number of people I speak to where they are not willing to change.
Yeah.
And it might be because they're not ready to change.
Mm-hmm.
Or they just don't want to hear it.
Or they're just in a comfort. They're in a comfort zone. And it's like we talked about environment before. If you take yourself out of an environment or a comfort zone, that's when change can happen. If you don't take yourself out of that comfort zone or environment, you either don't have a reason to change, or you just don't change because you're there.
Yeah.
And I didn't
This
want
is
to
the way that things are supposed to work.
Yeah.
This is the way that I've been taught it happens. I'm doing that. I'm comfortable.
Yeah.
So I'm not going to change, because I don't believe I need to. And that's the fundamental, isn't it?
But you guys will have seen it yourself over the transitions that you have. And there's people I would say I was really good friends with, I hardly ever speak to now.
Oh, totally.
And people that say to you, you've changed.
Yeah.
You're not who you used to be. And I now think that's a good thing. Whereas
I barely see any of my old crowds.
Yeah, people say it to me and I go, yes, you're right.
Yeah, I'm glad. I want to keep changing.
Have you not?
That's it. That's it. That's that limiting belief, isn't it? And before you, right, what you just said then is, before that, I would have looked at change as bad.
Yeah.
I would have said, I don't want to change. I'm all right who I am. I don't want to be a different person. But now I think it's like Groundhog Day. I think, on average, they say we live 75 years. Yeah. And most people live 75 years, 1 year at a time, because they just do the same thing Groundhog Day. After they've left school, university, got a job, it's the same thing year on year. I want to try and live 75 different years.
You don't live 75 years.
Well, no.
Because you don't live the last few years. You don't live the first few years.
No.
So you live the middle bit. So if you reduce that by 10% on either side,
you're going to really depress everybody
well,
now. Yeah.
I was literally just thinking, I turned 38. I just turned 38. I'm past halfway, but now you're taking away more years.
But what? Yeah, but that's practical, right?
Yeah.
You know, you're not going to live the best life you can live. You know, if you died at 80, you're not going to live the best life you live at 78.
Right. So that's one of the big issues with standard retirement, isn't it? Because I don't even know what the retirement age is. It's 66 or something.
God changes like the.
But anyway, in theory,
my retirement age was a year ago.
Yeah. Yeah, but you know, we've changed, haven't we? But like, you just live and work until whatever you are, 66, and then you've maybe got 10 years ish to live, and that's when they go, suddenly I got to travel the world and do what I want to do, and like, but then you're too old to do it.
Problems from been doing manual labor.
Yeah.
I think one of the problems
so wrong
with the human race is though that, and it was pointed out to me, is that when we actually have the mindset to achieve our goals, a lot of us are past our best.
Yeah.
Or well past the best. You know, so some people find, you know, if you speak to older people, a lot of them have got very wise words of wisdom, and you think, well, why are you not in a better position?
Yeah.
Because they never learnt it until they were in that.
I started too late, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know, I started too late, like for me.
Yeah, me too.
You know, I if I was to do one thing I regret, I wish I'd started early. You know, wish I'd listened to my inner voice. You don't have to do this. You can do something else. You know?
I mean, one of those things, if you could go back in time, I've heard it before, and you could say something to your younger self. Do you think your younger self would have listened?
No, probably not at the time. You got to be ready. You got to be ready for it, don't you?
You have.
I think there was a few years earlier that yes, it would. Yeah. But my 25-year-old self would have been told me to sling it.
Yeah. So would mine.
I don't know if we've missed it, but I've got something to throw back to you, because we do like to talk about challenges that crop up on this podcast as well. Or things like that. So can I just ask you, what's one of the biggest, like, I don't know if it's like either failures or challenges you've had in like that last sort of 7 years since you left that?
Well, I had a joint venture partnership.
Yeah.
Where we started basically a lettings business and things, which I shouldn't have done.
Yeah.
I shouldn't have got into it.
Wrong person or wrong business, would you say, or both?
Maybe both.
Yeah.
Maybe. I think I went in with the wrong intentions at the time. I went in with more of a money mindset. I think maybe we both did. I also, one mistake that I don't make now is basically get your rules and who's responsible and everything like that set in stone before you start doing things. Being the Blaze, I thought I was going to be pretty much left to grow the business and be the guy that went out there and sorted things out. The other guy was a bit more of sort of a steel. So I thought that, well, I'll take care of the back end.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, he didn't really seem to like the fact that I was out there doing that, growing it. But he didn't want to do it himself, but he didn't really want me doing it, which made it, and it all just got awkward. And unfortunately, I mean, we had quite a good friendship and relationship. That sort of all went down the Swanee. We got out of that. Obviously, I just left the business at the end of the day. I sort of sold my share of the business and stepped away from it. But I shouldn't have got into it. And I got into it for the wrong reasons. A lot of it was to do with COVID. Because I was thinking at the end of the day, I could still try and start to grow this letting agency and stuff just by reaching out to people remotely and chatting to them. So for me, that does leave a sour taste in my mouth, because it finished poorly and it shouldn't have. So that's something that's been a challenge, and that is something that I do regret. I wish I'd handled that better, and I think a lot of it.
How could you have made it better?
Realistically, I should have listened to my gut. I should have listened to my instincts. And in the beginning, when I was basically being asked, "Are you in or out?" I really wanted to say, "No, I'm not going to do it." But my mind was like, "Well, it's going to make some money, isn't it?"
Yes.
I went with, I went, yeah.
And the worst thing you can do in business is set off just for money.
Yes,
money purposes, right?
It was the wrong intentions. I went into it all with the wrong intentions, and I can't blame anybody but myself.
If you're not got a service mindset, and you're not there because you want to be, and you want to deliver this service, and it's only about money, it's not going to work.
And I've done the same with landlords. Early on, I took properties on, working with people, because for me, the landlord in what I do is as important as the property, because you've got to deal with people you want to deal with.
Property is people.
Yeah, of course it is. And there's a few landlords that I sort of did deals with that I just regretted later on. Those are the ones that you would normally, you issue a break clause, shake their hand and get yourself out of there. But again, so I've learned now, I listen to my gut. I have to be quite honest with you. If something's not right, if something feels off, I'll try not to do it.
And it sounds like you possibly knew at the time, but you sort of did it anyway in a way. Is that the learning?
Yeah, the learning is listen to what your heart and your gut and everything, and what you're telling yourself, and make sure you stop saying yes to everybody. For me, as I say, I've had to learn that. I've had to learn to say no to things. And it's freed me up. It's liberating, actually, because I would be the guy that you'd say, Mark, you coming for a beer tonight? Knowing full well I'm not coming for a beer. I'd say, I'm not sure yet. I'll tell you what, I'll text you later. That would have been the answer, because I wouldn't have wanted to say, no, I'm not. But that would have been nicer for you guys to know, oh, no, he's not coming, thank God.
Otherwise you're sitting there thinking, like, is he coming, is he not?
Yeah, that's what I mean. So it's having that.
You don't drink at all, right? That's the...
Well, I don't drink very often. I don't drink I can't say I don't drink at all, because I do like a drink, but I could probably... Well, I've drunk twice this year.
Right.
So not bad, not bad.
Yeah, that's pretty good. Yeah, it's pretty good. Lovely. So that's a great example, to be fair. There's always an element of trying things as well, though. You have to always be willing to be open to stuff. It's not just about saying no. So at the time, it could have been, maybe if you'd have been more service mindset than just about the money, that would have told you whether it was the right thing for you.
Yeah.
Anyway, so
good learnings from it.
Yeah.
Well, it is. I just think we should have laid down. Both of us had an idea about how the business was going to look, and we both had a different idea.
Yeah. So maybe one of the best things we've done in property portfolio building was like the mission that we've got. Hence the name of the podcast, is to help people achieve and maintain financial freedom. Yeah. And that is sort of what drives us. Yeah. And also the team around us. They know that that's the goal. But if it's not just about the money, you know,
how we do that is the business.
Yeah.
The mission is the same.
Yeah.
How we do that is
and we're starting to talk about, like, we just want to be the best at what we do. Yeah. And it's like, it's relaying that down to the team. It's like, when you got a decision,
continue to be.
Yeah. Huh?
Continue to be.
Continue to be the best.
But I think if you look at your properties and your projects, now I've been privileged enough to walk through those. Obviously, we did some filming days and stuff, don't we? Yeah. And they're amazing, absolutely amazing. So you know, you guys are up there in doing it. And the service that you offer, I speak to a lot of people as well. And when they say, "Oh, you know, I've been chatting to Phil and Tim, and I'm looking at doing a project with them," what I say is no brainer.
Yeah. Sorry, man, I didn't mean to flip this back to us. Let's get this back to you.
Genuinely, it's not. I'm not just here trying to big you up, but at the end of the day, sometimes it's nice for somebody to come in from the outside, and it's just to say that, you know, you do a great job.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
So we're going to wrap this up.
Okay.
I'm going to wrap it up with you asking us a question. We give the guest the opportunity to push back and punches backwards. What is?
So I've wrote this one down.
Just now.
Yeah. On a post-it note, everything goes on a post-it note for me. It's all over my monitors and stuff. Yeah. So if you could transform any property into your dream home, what 3 quirky features would you like to give that if you could do anything?
Well, I guess quirky features that it could also be things that I don't have.
Yeah.
Right. So,
it could be novelty.
Yeah. So I know that this is going to sound like soft and stuff, but I would love to have a dog play area.
Okay.
You know, significant though. You know, like it's got like proper play runs and stuff like that. And because that's something that when I take her to parks and things like that, and then get other dogs involved, she loves it. So I would love to have that, but it's quite challenging because if you go to a dog play center, like the big padded areas and stuff to play with, so I'd love to have something like that. And it was 3 things. Do you know? I'd love to have a
3. We've got to come up with 3.
Yeah, a gym. Do you know what I'd have? I'd have like a completely separate building for a gym and an office, and that's not quirky because I can build that, but I don't have the space where I am right now. So my home office is a bedroom that we've converted to an office. My at-home gym is me doing weights in the lounge. You know, so I would love to have an outdoor, you know, bifolded doors. You know, so when it's nice or even when it's not nice, I can have those doors open and I can, you know, just have a bit more outdoor time. And that's my 2. Have you got one or?
3 between us. That's much easier.
Yeah.
I've got one then. Yeah. Have you guys watched the Netflix doco on the David Beckham one?
Yeah.
I watched the first one.
Yeah. Was there another one?
There's a couple of episodes.
Yeah. So I can't remember which episode, but he's got a safari tent. And he's got like the property he's going to film. He's got a safari tent.
Oh yeah,
and it's got like a big cooker type barbecue thing in the middle. And he's like roasting these like meats and mushrooms and stuff like that.
Yeah. But you've already got a veranda barbecue.
Yeah.
So how's that different?
Oh no, like safari tent is a bit multi-dimensional, isn't it? So like you could have like a nice little log burner in there, and like you can play games.
Oh right,
with kids and
like
all these sort of things, and have guests around and dinner, whatever. Whereas
he lives in there a lot of the time, doesn't he?
It sounds like, well, yeah, it's like it was his favorite place when he absolutely loved it, and I just looked at it and I'm just like, next property is all I want is that safari tent, basically.
Yeah. The problem with that though is if you watch Clarkson's Farm, his umbrellas outside cost 40 grand.
Oh yeah.
Is this because he put without spoiling for people that haven't seen it, but he puts like a big cover over the deck, doesn't it? And he's just like, oh shit, the light's
Takes all
gone.
the light, yeah.
So he obviously paid for that, had that taken away.
Safari tent, right?
Well, I googled it.
Yeah, okay.
And I actually put a budget in place for this. So
There's a steal for you.
All in, you're probably talking 130, 140k.
Yeah, nice.
For like a decent one that David's got.
Yeah, it's got to add value, isn't it?
Don't know.
Why is it temporary structure? Is it going to need a lot of maintenance?
Depends what the rest of the house is worth, doesn't it?
It depends how, like, if you treat it. I suppose if you treat it quite well,
yeah,
because it's the material, isn't it, and how well it like holds up over time. And obviously, there's a reason why houses are in bricks and stuff like that in this country, because they don't hold up as well. But
So safari tent. There you go.
There you go. I thought you were going to come up with slides or lifts or all sorts of different things.
No, I used to have some clients who tried to be quirky, and they had like an office slide to reception, back to reception that you could choose. I just, and I see these ones like with lifts in the houses and stuff, and I probably going to end up having one of Nick's because Nick's disabilities and stuff. But I'm just like, it's just a thing, isn't it? It's not as much fun. I'd like
something you could use as well. It's practical, so it's not just for
maybe I'm a bit more boring than I used to be. I mean, I love a paint. I like maybe get like a paintball center or something in the basement or something. That'd be fun. But
nice,
cool. All right then. There we have it. Thank you very much for joining us, Mark.
Pleasure.
Really great to have you. Really great to hear your stories and things. So, thanks everybody for joining us today on the Financial Freedom Podcast. Hopefully, Mark's journey brings.
How do our listeners get in touch with you, Mark? Or
well, I mean, at the end of the day, they can send me an email at mark@markfitzgerald.com or check out the Property Unleashed podcast.
The podcasts are available.
There are second place podcasts out there.
So our listeners have got 2 podcasts to like and subscribe to if they haven't done so far.
That's it. But once again, thank you ever so much for inviting me on. It's always a pleasure to see you both.
Yeah, and so you can get in touch with us at podcast@invest-prop.co.uk, and that now works because I tested it the other day. 30 episodes in, the email address didn't work, so now it's up and running. So you can actually get in touch with us. And please like and subscribe on whatever platform you are listening to this on to keep up to date with either our technical podcast or our 6 rounds with interviews with people like Mark. Hopefully inspiring you on your journey towards financial freedom. And we'll catch you on the next one.
See you on the next one.
Take care. Bye for now.
Thank you once again for joining us on the Financial Freedom Podcast, sponsored by us at Property Portfolio Building. If you want to get in touch with us about today's podcast or any of the learning topics that we've gone through today, you can email us at podcast@invest-prop.co.uk or get in touch with us with whichever your social media platform of choice is. If you think you would add value to us as a guest on this podcast, you can please get in touch and let us know what you would be able to talk to us about. Other than that, we wish you well on your financial freedom journeys. And once again, thank you for joining us, and we'll see you on the next one.